Well, happy Thursday, everyone. This is Laurie-Ann, and you are listening to Be in Demand. This is the podcast where I help entrepreneurs just like you leverage speaking opportunities as your best form of marketing. Get positioned as the expert, and why not monetize your message? Today is a special speaker breakthrough session with my friend Lisa. Lisa, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, me too. Can you just share with me what you do and who you help?
Yes. So I am a life coach and a grief coach. So I help men and women who feel stuck, who are unhappy, or grieving any type of loss, not just a loss of loved ones through death, but any type of loss, to really create a life of passion and purpose and a life that they, desire and really
hmm
deserve.
hmm I had a previous client who did grief coaching, and I learned from her, because I was also on her podcast, that there are over 40 different types of grief. And I was like, wow,
Yes.
that's unbelievable. So how do you help people specifically? How do you work with them?
I work with them on one-to-one coaching online because I do, even though I'm American, I live in the UK, so I have clients all over. So I do one-to-one coaching on Zoom. I do group coaching for women called Wildly Authentic Woman. It's a 4-week online program. So I'll do one-to-one life coaching or one-to-one grief coaching.
Okay, thank you. And how much speaking have you done, would you say?
Do you know when many, many years ago, I spoke a lot, traveled around America and spoke a lot. I love public speaking. Since I've been in the UK, I've been in the corporate world. And just when I became a life coach, I then was like, I need to get back out there and share my story. My story changed. And so I've done a bit, but not near as much as I would
Mhm.
love to do.
Okay, so the speaking that you've done, has it been to market your current business?
Yes. I mean, I've done events, networking events, spoken at big events and small events or master classes with the accreditation program that I'm involved in.
Mm.
And so it has been, but more importantly, it's really grief education in the masterclass that I did on how to support loved ones who are grieving. So that
Mhm.
was a real training. Then the other events, the networking part was more of just inspiring people to take action to create a life that they want.
Okay, interesting. I've got we could go in a whole bunch of different directions. And how much online speaking have you done?
I have done quite a bit on people's podcasts. So I've been on a lot of podcasts and I have my
Mhm.
own podcast. And then, like I said, I've done some webinars as well as the masterclass. But I would say maybe 20 to 30 around there speaking events.
Okay. And when you say webinars, are you talking about like you're hosting the webinar or are you with somebody else?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
hosting it. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Now that I've got all this background information on you. So, okay. So, what would you like to get out of this coaching session? What can I help
I
you with? What's the big question?
the big question for me is where do I go to find these speaking events or online or in person? Now, because I'm in the UK, one thing that is really interesting is when I've kind of been out there, uh, individuals or some organizations will say, that's great, come on board and just pay us X amount of money to come be a speaker. And I thought, why am I paying you to come and share my time, my story, my inspiration, my knowledge with your audience? I thought that was quite interesting.
That is interesting. And, you know, we call it pay to play. And I'm okay with pay to play, but who's in the audience? If I pay a meeting planner, a conference organizer, X amount of dollars, then their job is to get the right people in the seats that my speech is going to be perfect for. versus, hey, I'll come speak for your audience and like, yep, you're not going to get paid, but you're also in your pre-event meeting going to be asking questions. Who's in the audience?
Mm.
Your job as the paid or unpaid speaker is to make sure that you are speaking to the right people, because you never want to speak for the sake of speaking.
Yeah.
Because we always want to make sure that it's the right audience, because when you speak to the wrong audience, there's a disconnect. They're not going to be raving about you. They're not going to be referring you. And they might remember you still, those 3 R's that I talk about all the time. But the other way around, if you're paying, and again, like I'm okay about the paying part, because here's another thing that a friend of mine who does summits, and she charges her speakers because she wants them to show up.
Mm.
And I like her the way that she thinks. I do like the way that she thinks. And she also has told me, like, because, at summits, you're growing the host's email list. And when she does this, she's keeping track of how many people are coming in through your link. And if you bring in 10 people, if 10 people join the summit from you, she gives you, refunds your money. So, but it's mostly, she told me, so that the speakers show up because she's had a bad experience before. So a part of me wonders, because I don't completely know. I've had clients in the UK, but I haven't heard that this is like a big trend, which makes me wonder, it can't be all of these events that you have to pay to play. So how do you get in front of and build those relationships with the meeting planners that are not pay to play?
Yes. And I know that it's not all of the UK. Like I absolutely know that's not the case. And I think that's the real question. I, like you, am happy to invest, but I love your advice of it has to be your ideal client or the people that you want to get in front of. That makes absolute sense. And then is it about getting into the right Facebook groups? Is it networking? Where do you find your people to get in front of? That's a big question.
Right. So here's a question for you is, what sort of people are perfect for your program? Instead of just answering this high level, I want you just like literally, if you have to close your eyes, I want you to think about, here are the people that I've worked with. What is this common theme throughout them?
Yes. So the common theme, most people come to me because they are extremely unhappy, either professionally in their career or personally in their relationships. They have this kind of either high level or low level of meh. They look in the mirror and they go, is this all there is to life? Is that it? This is it? So they're usually 40s to 60-year-olds, men and women. I would say about half of my clients are men. And they do just feel like stuck, just do not have clarity. There's just no clarity. It's like a mumbled mess, a ball of string in their brain. And they just need someone to help kind of unravel so that they gain that clarity.
Okay. You just said personally and professionally, they're unhappy. I'd go after the professionals.
Mm.
And the reason why I'm thinking that, and the reason why I'm very drawn to the professionals, is because of corporate speaking and getting into companies. So this might be a great way for you to get known as a speaker, so that people aren't reaching out to you saying, hey, if you want to come speak here, you can just pay us X amount of dollars and we'll put you on a stage. But instead, getting known in the professional world. And remember, like everybody that you speak in front of, as long as you're outstanding on the stage, or it's outstanding, at the corporate event, that's going to build your know, like, and trust. And everybody that's in that corporate audience might be members of professional trade groups that need to bring in people. And then they're going to start referring you, like, this woman came into our company. So is there a particular industry that you seem passionate about?
Oh, do you know, I've been in several corporate industries in my lifetime. I One area that I have worked closely in is law firms. So with lawyers, and there are a lot of miserable lawyers who are not happy in a lot of areas in their life.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there another industry? Like, I want you to have two that we're going to like target.
Yes. So I've worked in HR, and so with human resources. So I'm not sure that that's a actual company, but I do understand people. So gosh, I don't know. I can't think of.
So does the UK have HR associations like the US does?
Yes, they
Okay.
do.
And do they have to maintain credits?
Yes.
Oh, well, then you should target HR associations as well, because now you're able to talk about grief and unhappiness and how does that impact corporate engagement. See, now we're getting into my leadership speaking days, and uh, HR is a beautiful place for you to get known and build that speaking reputation. I would go after these two industries, law firms and human resource associations, human resource companies, and building those relationships instead of like, hey, I can talk about unhappiness and grief to everybody. But now you're just targeting law firms, so the law industry, and also human resource. Now, what you're doing is you're climbing to the top of these mountains, the human resource mountain and the law firm mountain, and meaning the mountain being like an industry. And when you climb to the top of those mountains, other people that are on the top of other mountains, meaning other industries, are going to see you. They're going to find you and notice you.
Great.
How does this feel?
This is great. This is such a great, I mean, obviously you're very good at what you do, but it is, again, when we talk about clarity, coaches need coaches, don't they?
Yes.
Therapists need therapists. So just the fact that it's like, oh, clarity. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now like you can have like a game plan. This is it. I'm going to go all in on these two industries and that's it. So now when you go to Google and you're looking for associations and professional trade groups within England for the law industry, I mean, now it's like those are going to pop up instead of where can I speak about unhappiness and grief?
Yes. Yes.
So what are you going to do next?
I am going to make contact with the people who I know in these industries as well. I mean, I know a lot.
Brilliant.
And I know HR representatives as well in different. So yes, I think in the HR is that finding out those organizations, the HR, like the industry, what is that body? What are those professional bodies?
Mm-hmm.
I've been out of it for a long time, so I'm not quite sure. So I'll do a bit of research.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell you what it is here in the US,
Mm.
but I'm not sure if like SHRM is a global organization. That I don't know, but that would be very interesting. If you find out, make sure you reach back out to me.
I will.
All right. So you're going to reach out to those people that you already know who are in the law industry, the lawyers that you know, and also the HR industry.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And just have those connecting conversations and let people know this is what I speak on.
Yes.
And make sure it's a beautiful, sexy title, something that's very provocative that makes the other person be like, my God, I want to hear what that is. Something that really draws people in because that's what your title needs to do. Needs to spark that interest.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So what is one or two gold nuggets that you are walking away with today?
Well, those are golden nuggets of just looking at the corporate. I looked at that a while back, and when you hit a brick wall, it's like, oh, well, that's it then. And so it just is, no, just keep going. So that's a real golden nugget, focusing on corporate. What I know. So doing what is really, really a huge golden nugget.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm so excited for you. So would you let everybody know where they can find you, follow you, and maybe even hold you accountable?
Yes. Accountability is great.
And don't forget, tell people about your podcast.
Oh, yes. So I do have a podcast called Because We Love, Finding Meaning After Loss. So we focus on any type of loss, as well as, more importantly, the healing. I can be reached on Instagram at holistic_coach_Lisa. And my website's Holistic Life Coaching with Lisa Marie.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. And I can hardly wait to hear how you're doing in a couple of months and how your calendar is filling up.
Thank you so much. This was so great.
Well, Lisa Marie certainly got a lot out of our short period of time being together. And now she has a game plan that she can move forward with. If you would like to book a speaker breakthrough session because you've got this big question, or you don't even know where to get started, whether you are new to speaking or you've got some speaking stages under your belt, you can book your own speaker breakthrough session. And during this free 25-minute session, we're going to talk about what's holding you back from using speaking as your best form of marketing. You can book that session at speakandstandout.com/SBS for speaker breakthrough session. Can't wait to see you on a future call.